Hi, welcome back to Show and Sell. My name is Scott. It feels like a long time since I've done one of these videos, and I guess it has, but I had two things that were on my mind, and I thought a longer format was the perfect format to talk about them. I've done a lot of sourcing in the last month, private picks, yard sales, as well as auction houses. For example, last Friday alone, I made in two different towns, I had to go pick up multiple auction lots in each location. Involved a bit of driving, but I have sourced a lot, is my point in general. And last night at a drive-through, saw an auction was closing nearby, picked up a few lots. I'm going to show you those in just a second. The other thing that was on my mind this morning over coffee, I was on a popular reseller Facebook group and saw some people were talking about the United States Postal Service and some other delivery services, and I did what I always do. I got the gist of what the initial post was, and I immediately jumped down to the comments to see which way the wind was blowing, and we'll talk about that. But first, let's look at the items that I just picked up. As I said, I picked up 3 lots while I was waiting for drive-through. Starting on the left there, we have 6 Mississippi Delta Blue trivets. It's a lot of 6. I paid $4. On the right, we have a new old stock George Foreman grill. I paid $3 for that. And down here at the bottom, not very, well, not much to show, but it is a Godfather 3 movie trailer, and I paid $6 for that. Do me a favor, if you've watched this far into the video, hit like. But if you didn't like this video, also hit like. Just go down to the comments and tell me why. Sadly, it's the only way I'm gonna learn. But if you really want to help me out, and if you would like to see more of this type of content, hit subscribe. The algorithm loves that like and subscribe, and I appreciate it. Back to this, the auction lots that I picked up today, and in fact, over the last month. I've done a lot of sourcing over the last month, not surprising. It's yard sale season, but as it has gotten a lot hotter, and not just in my part of the country, but nationwide, I decided to branch out a little bit, do a little more online sourcing, purchasing through like High Bid and some of the auction houses around here. Last Friday alone, I picked up multiple lots from 2 separate auction houses in separate towns. Involved a bit of driving, but I think it's going to pay off in the long run. Last night, waiting for a sandwich at a drive-through, and was picking at my phone, saw some auctions were about to end, bid. I think these are going to work out nicely. The George Foreman grill should sell for about $20. The trivets, I believe, well, I got the impulse to buy them because I recently sold some guitar picks to either Australia or New Zealand. And about a year ago, I sold something similar, also overseas. And I know that there's a fascination for the Delta, blues, rock and roll, music in general. And I live in Mississippi, so I thought this would be a perfect item to pick up on the cheap and probably sell it for between $8 and $15. I haven't done a lot of research on them yet, but I think they'll sell, and I think I'm going to pocket probably 10 each. I've got 6. The trailer, I think it should go for at least $50. I'm going to list it probably for $75. So you're looking at $130, $120, $100 at least in profit for a $16 buy, all in. Pretty good. I wish I wish all of us could make 10 times our money, or roughly 10 times, 10 times our money each time we went out. I was looking at a Facebook group this morning over coffee, and I saw someone had posted a story, just a general catch-all post about the Postal Service. And for the purposes of this story, when I say post office, I could just as easily say FedEx or UPS or DHL or whatever local carrier services your area, package delivery services your area. It's all the same comments that are always made of, I want the carrier to, I expect the carrier to, the carrier did this at the street, the carrier didn't do this at the street, the carrier should do this, shouldn't do that. And then lots of furious typing amongst people that agree wholeheartedly about the inaction or of how the Postal Service has once again let everyone down. Basically, the post office has had it too easy for too long. The post office is understaffed, under-equipped, and underpaid. I'm not sure if any of the too easy for too long is applicable. The post office has slowly shifted over the last few years from a mail delivery service to essentially just another package delivery service. And every year the volume gets bigger, and every year the number of people that want to work at the post office shrinks. Your average carrier, when my mom lived in a rural area when she was a child, and it was not uncommon for people to get a ride to town with the mail carrier, because the mail carrier would deliver in the morning, and they would, they were headed back, and people would go into town with. It was a neighborly thing to do. That's not the case anymore. These days, carriers are working. Every second is accounted for. It's not uncommon for literally, they were told, you have X number of seconds at this location, and it might be 20 seconds, it might be 45. Rarely is it 10 minutes, that is. It's usually you have more work, less time, and less equipment, less staff. And at this time of year, people are fighting the weather. When was the last time you had, you thought to offer your carrier a bottle of water or the use of your bathroom if they needed it? Now, I realize that is a difficult ask for most people. Speaking personally, the very notion that a stranger would use my bathroom is disgusting. To be perfectly frank, even I don't like to use my bathroom. But that bottle of water could help. It's 1,000,000 degrees in most parts of the United States right now, and it would help to have the person who's sorting my mail or delivering my mail not be in the middle of a heat stroke. At the very least, you want to encourage them to have the heat stroke away from your property, as opposed to maybe being in the middle of it on your front porch. The other comment that I saw virtually everywhere was, if you don't like it, if you can't do it, quit. Let's see. The first thing that I would say to most people is, what's your mailbox like? Is it functional? Does it stand? Does it open and close? Is it big enough? Is there a number on it? Does it have your name on it? If it doesn't, maybe tend to that. Maybe if you need a bigger box, buy a bigger box and have it installed and then maintain that box. But people don't like homework. What they like is to be able to assign that project to this person. And instead of buying and getting a functional mailbox that's big enough and serviceable enough and does the job that the basic function of a secure box at the street, instead of doing that, I would rather you get out of your vehicle and walk it up here, which on the surface doesn't seem like a big deal, except we all don't live in cookie cutter houses. That distance could be 10 feet. It could be a half a mile. It could be, it could be a paved sidewalk, or it could be ruddy and uneven and muddy and wet, and there could be animals, dogs, and taking into consideration things like steps and slips and falls. And, again, when I saw the initial post and I read some of the comments, every time somebody would tell the story, I would be like, what's the part of the story that they're not mentioning? When they say that the carrier doesn't want to do X, Y, or Z, why doesn't the carrier want to do that? Now, I will readily admit, that it is entirely possible to have a bad experience with the post office or any other package service, and I am not immune to that. I've had issues with both. My first reaction was not to call up and get the general manager, and I need to get that carrier fired. When you're at a restaurant, if you have bad service, if you have bad food, if you have problems, the first thing shouldn't be to, stand up on the table and point and scream and trying to get somebody fired, particularly if you plan to ever eat there again. What you want to do is you want to have a relationship, have a little to and fro. You want people to remember you, but not for that reason. If you don't like it, quit. I could easily say, you live in your package needs to get taken care of because it's not safe at the street. You live in a bad neighborhood, move. Why is that any less of a valid reason than the carrier should get out and, leave what could be hundreds of packages unattended to go attend to one package up on a porch? I'm not saying you shouldn't get out. I'm just saying maybe not be so, fixed on, give them a break. It's 1,000,000 degrees out there. How about that? That alone. Just cut them some slack. They're a carrier. They shouldn't be. It shouldn't feel like they're building the pyramids. Oh well. Thank you for letting me rant. It's not that big a deal, but people get triggered on and when you see people complaining about things that really, maybe take a breath. And everybody's just trying to get home at the end of the day. Speaking of, I got home. I need to get listing. I hope everything's going well with you. I appreciate you watching. I hope you'll tune in next time. We'll see you then. My name is Scott. Bye.